Oh, das geht gut. Hallo, sind wir schon da? Wir sind schon da, glaube ich.
Ladies and gentlemen.
Du kannst mir... You hear me in the echo, eh?
Yeah, a little bit.
But
Hello, how are you doing today? Hello, Linda. So I think we are
Are we live?
ready, we are live.
We are live.
I'm not sure that we have like kind of a sound issue because I'm sitting in front of Hayo Sol, and I would like to welcome everybody worldwide to our very special live stream today. And I think we have like kind of a challenge because we have 3 cameras today. It's a whole Hollywood studio here.
Yes.
We have camera in here and
CNN.
in here and in here. CNN, yes. And welcome to our live. And we want to have like, oh, there's an echo. Maybe we can...
Yeah. Probably because of the 2 phones.
I think so. So I just put myself... hopefully you can hear me.
Can you hear me?
Papa, can you hear me? So we have the opportunity, and I think we have the privilege to get involved, to get a deep dive into in a very special collection that takes us back to the golden area of Hollywood, I would say.
Yes.
And we are here in the heart of Amsterdam with the internationally acclaimed artist Hayo Sol. Thanks for having me.
Well, thanks for making the whole trip from Berlin to Amsterdam.
Yes.
To be the host.
To be the host, yeah, and I think it's time to get through some unique items, and each item, I would say, tells a story of the legendary Marlene Dietrich. So I think you can sit down, relax, and
enjoy the flight.
Enjoy the flight and enjoy the glimpse into the life of the star diva Marlene Dietrich. Hello,
Yes.
Manuela. Hello, Tony.
Oh, Tony.
Hello, Lionel.
Hi,
Hello,
Tony.
Linda.
We love Tony. Well, thank you all for joining in here in Amsterdam on this Sunday afternoon. And I would like to take the opportunity to first thank the fantastic host, the uber professional Matthias Furch for being here and arranging all of this. And of course, I want to talk about the disclaimer that we do not want, of course, to do this live stream to violate any Marlene Dietrich Incorporated copyrights. So I have a lot of letters here. There's a lot of stuff here from my own personal archive and from some other people. But I might read from the letters, but we're not going to show it to you just because we don't want to violate any copyrights. And also, this is not a commercial thing. It's just from our fan base, sharing it with you to also keep the interest and love for this, I would say, one-of-a-kind lady alive. And that's why we're here today, just to share the stuff that we have. And maybe in the future, one of you also would like to do this. Hopefully, the Marlene Dietrich Collection in Berlin, maybe next year also would like again to show us in a live stream some of their amazing stuff that they have.
That would be perfect.
That would be great, right? I started 4 years after Marlene passed away. I started to get infected with the Dietrich virus. My dear friend Frank was a huge, and still is a huge fan of Marlene Dietrich. And somehow I got interested in her. I'd seen the Maximilian Schell movie, documentary, and then for some reason I started to go crazy. And the first time I visited Berlin was in 1999 when they still had the Blue Angel restaurant. And I thought, wow, there's a little display cabinet and there is a letter, and at the back of the letter it said Marlene Dietrich, Paris. And I thought, oh, maybe one day I could have something like this. And then I just started collecting, and it's like with stamps. You buy one stamp and before you know it, you have 20 million stamps, right?
Yeah, and I visited you, I think, 2 days ago, and so you already told me that you had a lot of stuff, and I had no idea. I came into this big apartment, and Marlene is so present everywhere. Everything is about Marlene, and this is why I love it so much. So you prepared something for us, Hayo?
Yes,
And
well,
I think we have not that. I think, and we could talk, I think, for maybe 48 hours straight.
To
show
and I
some
talk a
things.
lot already, so we have to. It's a good thing Matthias is here to
Direct.
edit and direct.
No, I just-
Where do you want me to show the items? Which camera would be best?
I think we first we show the items to our live audience.
Yeah, so
And
that
then
can be
maybe-
either you or me.
I think you.
Okay, then I'll do me.
Yeah, you too.
What was interesting, and it's something I bought from a live auction several years ago. I'd never seen it, but also in a film museum when I brought it to the Marlene Dietrich-Collection in Berlin, they'd never seen it. It's an original UVA. I think it's called a quartet game. It's with cards. I will open it down. It's from 1929.
1929.
I
Yeah.
was just born at the time, but I'm not sure if you can see it. So it's related to the Blue Angel for only 4 cards, and then there's a lot of other cards from other UVA movies.
And to bring or maybe the friends in here were not very Marlene pro, so it is the time before she was that famous.
Yeah,
The time like after her silent movie career, and like the time she was doing the Blue Angel, yeah, with Josef von Sternberg,
as she
which
said,
brought her to America and to international fame.
and as she said, there was all the names of the actors, and I was at the bottom of the list.
Yes.
So she was not considered like the big star. But then, of course, crazy things happened. So that was one of the things that I bought. But one of the first things related to the that little envelope I saw at the Blue Angel restaurant in Berlin, that I thought I would love to have something in her own handwriting. That happened in around 2000, so that's already 20, 30 years ago, when Lilo Austin, who was a friend of, I wouldn't say like a friend. She was an acquaintance to Marlene, and she did some stuff, she would send her Frankfurter Würstchen and so. And so I bought some of the items there from her archive when she passed away. You can even see the address, Lilo Austin, Wielander Straße 34, Berlin. But what's so funny, and I'm trying to show it to you, this will not be violating any copyrights, I'm sure, but she cut out this lip and she says it would be fantastic if my lips could look like this.
Ja, so sieht meins nicht aus.
Ja.
Aber schmerzhaft trocken, Lippen trotz Salben. And maybe you can show it somehow in this camera and in this camera, because we have 3 cameras today. That's perfect, yeah.
And so she wanted that is also somewhere here, the Labello lipstick, because her lips were so dried out. Here's actually also, this made me freak out at the time, that I finally had this.
And her handwriting on the letter white. So
Yeah, it's a handwriting of Marlene. That's when you are a crazy fan, that's what happens. But the good thing
Avenue Montaigne
10, yeah, it's not 12,
12.
as you can see.
in Paris.
So then finally I had this, what we also saw at the restaurant. So that's actually the first thing I ever bought. There's also here something she wanted to have, is a little clockwork. So that's what she used Lilo to send her some of these items.
Elektrisch oder Batterien?
Yeah,
Maybe
So
you can
that's-
show it in this camera.
So that's what she wanted to know, if it was an electrical clockwork or not. So that's actually one of the first things that I bought, and then the
But there's
crazy,
so much more.
then the crazy
This
stuff.
table is, you know, crazy.
The crazy stuff
online.
started happening, and to this day, I'm sort of regulating because it's getting out of control, right?
And we have so many guests. So
Do we have
so
many guests? Okay, well,
Yeah,
hi
yeah, yeah.
guests. I'm happy you are there.
Uli is here. Hello, Uli.
Hello, Uli.
Aus
I wanted to
Hamburg.
say hi to Tony, if Tony is there, I think. Uli.
Tony's there. Hi, Tony.
Vielleicht
I see
Peter Graxner is there. Maybe Jim and Steve, my dear friends from New York City, who have met Marlene because Stan Freeman was a dear friend of theirs. And Jim could tell you fantastic stories about the concert in San Francisco that they went to. And maybe Jeffrey from Canada is watching us. I hope you're doing well, Jeff. So hi. In 2010, I bought in Berlin the archive of Margot, Max Goldstein, who was a friend of Marlene from 1960 until she passed away. He had a lot of amazing stuff, and I showed Matthias even the smell of Marlene's perfume is somewhere in all these papers.
So good.
What he also did, because
Wow.
maybe some of you might know Margot, he designed the costume for Just a Gigolo.
Yes.
That's what he did. Chanel made
Chanel.
it. Chanel produced it, and he made the costume. And probably a lot of German people know Roncalli. He is the guy who owns the big circus. He has an insane amount. I mean, this is a fraction of what I have here. What he has is crazy. He has a whole warehouse full of stuff, and he bought through Helnbein, the artist, who also did the lithograph for the documentary with Maximilian Schell.
Okay.
He bought the costume of Just a Gigolo. So I
The
was.
original one. It's like dark green, isn't it?
I thought it was black at
Me
the
too,
time because
me
of
too,
the movie.
Me too. Yeah.
But it was green, like
It
you
was
said.
green. Yeah.
And it was, the details were insane. The boot she's wearing, at the back of the boot there's a heel where they have the Swarovski crystals in it. In the movie you don't even see it, of course.
You don't even see it at all.
You don't see it at all. But all the details, and the blouse, and also the, how would you say that, the upper part of the costume, there was a lead lining at the bottom that makes it heavier, so it pulls it down.
Clever.
Clever. So all the details, that I was just, it was crazy.
And she was always involved in some kind of what I have to wear in movies.
Always,
and so
always.
She was not like kind of, oh, thanks for your design.
No.
Thank you very much. There was always like direct feedback.
Yeah.
But we have so much more.
Yeah.
Please,
So what I want to
us
show you is
Yeah.
this, just a couple of, this is drawn by Margot. So this
the
was in his
original
archive.
sketches?
Yeah.
Wow.
And of course he did not design the Jean-Louis dresses, but for some reason he made these
And
drawings.
the face. And the face
And the
is
face
so
is-
amazing. Like this
It's
is
good, eh?
like not Marlene. I will show it to you another. Come on, this is insane.
Also, as you can see, the face is so well. It's crazy.
That's crazy.
And I don't know why he drew this, because these were not his dresses. This was Jean-Louis.
Because it was Marlene.
It was Marlene. Now, what is interesting also regarding Just a Gigolo, since we mentioned that movie, in the archive there is this letter from David Bowie to Marlene.
David.
Now, Matthias, what date did Marlene die? Remember, in May. Was it
May 1992.
92? But do you know the date? Was it
The 6th, yes.
The 6th, huh? Because this was, and of course this was in 78, but this was May 14 that he wrote this in Frankfurt. I will read it to you sort of quickly.
Frankfurt. Yeah. What?
So this is a letter that he wrote to Marlene. My dear Madam D, what a dreary hotel, what dreary weather. I'm still rocking and rolling my ever-decreasing self across this globe. Far from home, feeling far from talented. I think I stole that. That's what he said. Yet again, I flew from New York to Paris and withered away with a common cold for 3 days, awaiting instructions as to when and where we were to meet, but to no avail. It seems to me the powers that we have tricky this afoot, I don't know what that means, and I, for one, seem to have been left out in the cold. I hope you are warmer. I was also shown an article in English which implied that I could not be bothered to wait around for our doomed working day, or my last visit to see you. God, how infuriating these damned film folk can be. I thank and pride myself that I was able to phone you before I arrived that time and forewarned you of my feelings and uncertainties regarding that schedule. Alas, but however, I would consider it a great honor if next time I'm in Paris, I may come visit you on a strictly social basis. I will, of course, call you on the phone beforehand. Once again, should you wish to contact me, please do not hesitate to use Stan Diamonds, might be his agent, mail address, as I know not which city your mail would not reach me in all of this moment. I'm, as always, ever lucky to be able to write to you. David. David Bowie.
And
in my ghost.
To add 3 points here, she loved to phone people, to talk to people on the phone. Point 2, they never met, right? They never met in person. No. And point 3, to say hello to our new guest. Like, there's a hi Arthur, Marlo, Lawrence,
hello.
Rolf van der Waal. Maybe there are some friends of you.
Oh, Yvonne and Rolf van der Waal. Yes, in Spain. Buenos días.
Ah, in Spain.
¿Qué tal?
Good talk. Yeah.
And actually, Marlene was the one who sort of directly and indirectly inspired me to start doing pop art.
She was.
Yes.
She's the reason.
She was the reason. The first paintings I did was of Marlene. And
pop art, yeah.
And one of the paintings, it's based on a Milton Green photo of Marlene.
Yes.
And it's painted with acrylic and metal paint. It's behind me. So she's the one that started that. Now, what is so fantastic, and we already mentioned a few names, is that because of Marlene, we to this day still meet so many people. I have so many friends that I've met throughout the years that to this day, because we share the love for Marlene Dietrich, we also then become friends, which is still crazy.
We are a crazy community.
We are crazy.
We are really crazy.
But we're in a good way, hopefully.
In a good way.
In a good way. One of the people...
In a Dietrich way.
In a Dietrich way, exactly. One of the people that have also seen many of her shows in Holland, not in Holland, but they live in Holland, was Aart Tak, who unfortunately passed away a couple of years ago.
Okay.
And we also still have Jan in Rotterdam, who also took a lot of amazing, beautiful photos of Marlene. I want to show you a couple of photos that Aart took at the Queen's Theatre in 1972.
This is unique.
And here she's
and
raising
the
glass.
Never published, right?
Never published.
Yeah.
Never published. We're still working on doing a book. There's a million books about Marlene out there, but for some reason, nobody has ever published a book about her stage period. It would only be a chapter in the book, right? One or two chapters. So I hope one day that, and maybe you people out there that have original photos that you took, we could then use that to make a beautiful, big book. She's waving at Matthias here, as you can see.
Hi, grandmother. Hi, Oma.
Hi, Oma. And this is the stage door at the Queen's Theatre.
So a fan took a photo of her greeting or signing some autographs or something?
And this is, this is crazy, Matthias. I'm just showing you something.
Sure.
Here is Paul Kreese. And Paul was a huge fan of Marlene. And unfortunately, he passed away a couple of months ago. He was in touch with Marlene a lot of times. I have had this photo for 8 years, and now, only now, I see him. Isn't that crazy?
Now. Okay.
Only now, yeah.
That's kind of spooky, but...
Yeah, and he took many photos of Marlene also.
Here, on the back, like Queen's Theatre, right?
Queen's Theatre.
In London,
72. 72, exactly.
Wow.
Yeah. That is spooky, right?
We are nerds.
Never seen his face there. And now his face is there.
Yeah.
So, also to the family of Paul, we wish you well, of course,
yes,
and
of
condolences.
Regarding
her tour, I also have the archive of Rudy, where there is a lot of information that
Rudy
is
her husband.
The husband, exactly. That's
Rudolf Sieber.
Rudolf Sieber. And it just shows you the Air France flights she needed to get on.
Air France.
Air France. leaving Paris, arriving in Los Angeles. She's staying at the Beverly Wilshire Hotel till June. And then Marlene has written no word yet of all other hotels. So this is just the whole setup for all the performances she's doing. And I don't know if I have it with me here. Also, it's interesting that there's also the amount of money she was making for each show. Sometimes it was like 50,000. Let me see, $50,000, something like that. Crazy. Maybe it's here.
So
I don't know.
there are so many things. I just can show you. What? For a short time, the table.
On its
full of stuff, full of items.
Now, Matthias already rightly pointed out that before the Blue Angel, Marlene did some little parts, mostly in silent movies, and then she did Blue Angel, and she became a big and huge success. But Joseph von Sternberg did not want to show the Blue Angel in the United States. He first wanted to show Morocco, because that's where he thought that's the image that Dietrich needs to have. And actually she, according to her own family, kept that image for the rest of her life, with the key light. And also, again, during an auction, I was able to, I think it opened in 1930 in Los Angeles at Grauman's Chinese Theater. It's the original opening night, so premiere booklet, if you could say.
Or the imitation, like it's about the premiere of the movie.
It's a premiere of the movie. Here you see the whole schedule, because at that time they had like a pre-movie, they had some music, and then the big movie started. And what's interesting, maybe you fans can enlighten us, Matthias and I, because this is a printed photo, right? That was in the invitation, but we think it's not Marlene's handwriting, because it looks a little, the signature looks different, right?
The signature looks different even at that time. So I realized that she signed like this maybe in 1920 or something. But I think the T looks like a Marlene T, but
like the two,
the two, you for me. Oli, please help us. What do you think? You are a pro.
And it says a new great star. And there is also a little bio on the left, and then Morocco in golden letters. So they made a huge effort of that. That was good.
And this is from 1930. Can you imagine? Almost 100 years. And we all know. And we all know this cinema because nowadays there are all the handprints and footprints of the famous stars like Meryl
and not
Streep.
Dietrich. Dietrich is not there.
But
unfortunately.
Hildegard Neff.
That is why. Is Hilde there and not Marlene?
She told the story once because this was a mix-up, I think.
Yeah.
And she was claiming that the Americans couldn't say her name like Hildegard Knef. So she just was like, okay, it's
Knef.
It's Neff, like Neff.
Then
I see something more over there.
Yes, this one.
And this one. I'm so excited for this one because I have so much respect of this item. I'm sitting here.
So do we start with the contract, Matthias, or with this? What do you want?
Let's do the contract
first,
first, because then we have a finally.
Again, an auction. In Hollywood, there's still many auctions. There was suddenly an auction of this.
Oh, paper, nice. What is it?
So I thought, okay, let's buy some paper. That's nice. Let's do some crazy stuff with some paper.
But let's take us back in like 1944.
This is November 7, 1944, but the original contract is, I think, from...
During the war, and we all know that she was very busy during the war.
And as far as I know, the original contract is in 43 already. Yeah, 43.
So tell us about the contract.
I will try to show you, if you can see it, what it says up there, MGM. Because Marlene used to work for Paramount. And she always wanted to work for MGM because that was sort of the big studio. And then she finally got signed up to do 2 movies. And one movie was Kismet. The other movie was still in development. And she got paid, which it says her in the contract, $50,000 for each movie. So it's $100,000 in total. US dollar. That was
insane.
Insane.
Huge. Yes.
And like you said, that was also the Second World War.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what happened is that Marlene did the Kismet movie, but she was never able to do the second movie. So she didn't get paid for that.
Because of the war?
Because of the war.
Back to the
And
front.
actually but as you can see, my friends, this contract is huge, right? There's a lot of supplements there. But it says that she didn't show up for work for the second movie. And it's also
the laziest girl in town.
because she was in Europe, you know, in a way fighting her way to fight the war against the Nazis.
Oh, yeah.
So
But she signed the contract. So
I'll show you. I'll
She
show you
signed
the contract.
with MGM. Can you imagine? We all know Paramount and MGM studios. Like it's
Yeah, so here's
insane.
the signature, as you can see.
Famous signature.
Same. This is the original contract. So in it, there's some supplements that mention the fact that she didn't show up for work, and that meant she didn't get paid. There's a little mentioning of the studio knowing that she was in Europe performing, but
Fighting
still
against
against.
Germany.
Now, what some of you fans, and I know Uli knows this, there is this famous scene where she has the legs painted golden, right?
Yes,
You know
the
that.
movie. Yeah.
But originally, that scene was to be shot with metal rings. But
Golden metal rings.
I'm not sure if they were golden. Uli, do you know if they're golden? I do know that, but the thing is, on the soundstage, it made too much noise. So she was rattling when she was moving. And
She had
also...
a dance performance, like
Yeah,
she was coming
exactly.
down like a big stair and with some, I don't know,
With that,
very
she was
catchy
dancing.
music.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
dancing.
And she did that later with the golden legs. The metal rings didn't work because of her movement and the sound it made. Also, it caused the skin to bruise. And that is also interesting, and I'm not sure if you will be able to see, but I'll show it to you. And I'm going to read it to you. Here is a little supplement that I'll read it to you. It says, because of bruises received by her while doing a dance number for Kismet, was with metal rings, that they later on deleted, on October the 26th, the above, that's Marlene Dietrich, was unable to render services on October the 27th and the 28th. And today, we will advise you when she's able to report for work. However, and this is so Dietrich, however, Miss Dietrich did come in on both October 27 and 28 for wardrobe fittings. Mr. Sidney will advise whether or not she is to be paid salary during the period of incapacity. So that is Dietrich, right?
She would say, or like she did in that interview, ich bin doch praktisch.
Ich bin noch praktisch.
Ich muss arbeiten.
So that was the Kismet wig, and then MGM.
No, the contract.
Oh, sorry. That was the yes, exactly. That was the Kismet contract. Then the Kismet wig is also here because MGM many years ago, 15, I don't know, went bankrupt. So they sold a lot of inventory, and they sold hundreds of wigs from Elizabeth Taylor, Marlene Dietrich, Marlon Brando, and I was lucky enough to be able to buy the Kismet wig. Now there was, as far as I know, 3, because there was the hairpiece. Some parts are still missing because that was metal, and she of course had different wigs, different styles. So as far as I know, there were 3 wigs. They were handmade by Max Factor, and this is real hair. And inside the wig, you will see the wig number, and that relates to this card. And this was invented by Sidney Gilerov. He was the wig designer for MGM, and actually it's like a library card. So later on in '66, somebody else used this wig for some kind of movie. I don't know what movie. So it's human hair. It's dyed to the color, and this wig is, how old is it? 80 years. 81 years. So that was Marlene's wig.
Wow.
From Kismet. And I was very lucky to, also because of this, I became friends with Patricia Dehaney, and she is a hair designer for many movies, also for Clint Eastwood. And she worked on a lot of movies and still doing that in Los Angeles.
Wow.
So that's the wig, and you might even be able to see it on the top. As Uli also pointed out, normally this would have been underneath, but it's also broken here because it's so old. So they put it on top, otherwise it would push against it. And then this is where they would glue the wig to the skin, right? So that's...
I can feel her presence.
You can feel
I
the
can
presence.
feel her presence.
She is here, absolutely. She is here, absolutely. What's also interesting, I'm not going to show it because of the copyright. This is a letter of Marlene to her daughter Maria. And in it, she's mentioning the fact that she herself, because Maria has written this fantastic biography.
Yeah. In 1993.
Yeah, exactly. And in it, Marlene is writing that she will write more chapters for Maria's book. So there was an involvement of Marlene with the information that was in that book, right?
I see.
There was.
And Maria is still alive.
And Maria is luckily still alive.
100 this December. So
this December she will turn 100.
100, yeah.
Fingers crossed.
Amazing. Yes.
That's fantastic.
That was
And you know, there's 3 books that I love best out of all the books. That's Maria's book.
yes.
That's the Stephen Bach book.
Uh-huh.
And the little what's it called, like address book, the little red book.
The telephone book, the red one?
Yeah, the red one.
Yeah,
That's
this is
one of my
amazing.
favorites. Now, what I didn't know again until 12 years ago, when there was another auction again in Los Angeles, is that Marlene in the early 70s, when you would have a flight with Pan Am, not operating anymore,
Yeah.
you could get a sort of European language course in French with Charles Aznavour, I think in Spanish, maybe Portuguese, and there was one lady giving you during the flight when you plugged in the headphone, giving you a German language course.
Oh, wie wunderbar.
Was that Hildegard Knef? No.
Not Mrs. Neff, no.
No, it was Marlene Dietrich.
Not surprised.
And had you ever heard of that?
Not
I'd
really, but
never
I
seen.
No.
Never seen anything in it about in books.
And nothing mentioned is
nothing
in the
mentioned.
kinematic, like
Nothing. No.
no pictures, no
Nothing.
audio.
And for all you fans out there, Vera Irvebor, if I'm pronouncing it correctly in English, she has been producing a fantastic documentary about Marlene Dietrich and the fans and admirers of Marlene. And she has the exclusive where she's going to let you hear the audio, because only 4 minutes survived of that 1 hour language course, unfortunately. But she has the exclusive to show that in her beautiful new movie that's coming out. And the good thing is, I was able to get those 4 minutes.
That's why we are here.
And to get the from the guy who produced it for Pan Am.
Boris, right?
Boris.
Yeah.
So this is signed by Marlene in 1970 to Boris. And it's amazing that nobody, also the older fans that have been crazy about Marlene for so many years, none of them ever knew this. And this is and as you can see, it's a lot, right?
It's the script one.
This is the script. So it's at least 1 hour. And I can, just for like 30 seconds. The student says, "Excuse me, I want to buy a ticket to Vienna. Where is the ticket office?"
Say it with the Dietrich voice, please.
And then, but this is the student. And now, and this is funny, I'll show you. It also says Miss D. Can you see that?
Yes, Miss D.
Miss D.
Miss D.
It says, "Darf ich Ihnen helfen? What is your wish to buy? Oh, do you speak English? My German is practically non-existent. I want to buy a ticket to Vienna. Sie möchten eine Fahrkarte nach Wien? First class?" So that goes on and on and on and on. And it's not there anymore.
Oh.
We only have 4 minutes. But, I mean, 4 minutes are also fantastic, right? Then Boris put in a picture of Marlene in the studio. It says Paris, November.
In that recording studio.
In the recording studio,
Oh,
yeah.
wow.
November 27, 1990.
So there's a proof.
And then there's the proof. And it says the receptionist is there. The actress who's playing the
Student.
The student. Then there's Boris. And then there's Dietrich. I will show it to you. If you can see it.
Hi, Danny, by the way. Welcome.
Welcome to everybody.
There's Kate. Hi, Kate. René. Hi, René. Nice to meet you all.
Here is the gang in that studio in
So
Paris.
it was in 1970?
This was in 1970, November 27, in Paris. And it's funny that even at the back, I'll show you, Matthias, the receptionist is also mentioned from the studio.
Nice.
Crazy, eh? Yeah, so that was really
I will show it to the other camera.
superb.
That is so funny.
That is, yeah. All the details, that's what I love. We also mentioned the war a little bit and that she did the Kismet movie. That was actually the only movie she did during the war.
Yeah.
There was no other movie. And then, of course, she went to the front to perform. A couple of years ago, again in Los Angeles, they have crazy stuff there. I was able to buy tax reviews from Marlene, and this is from the archive of her husband Rudolf Sieber. But what's interesting is that you can see, and this is from 47. There's ones from 43, 1943. Is that she paid for so many people their income, and also, does the name Carol Reiter ring a bell to you? He is mentioned Carol Reiter.
Not yet, no.
He's mentioned in a couple of books. He was an astronomer, so he would tell Marlene not to travel or travel on that date because of the signs and the stars. And so she paid him for his advice. Should I now go to Europe or not? And he would say, he would look at the stars, and then he would say, yes, you can, or no, you can't. So she's paying him, but also, and a lot of German fans probably know Elisabeth Bergner, who was an actress.
Yes.
She is also on this list of people that get paid by Marlene. I'm trying to,
So there's a Marlene Dietrich paywall, right?
Yeah, so Marlene was sort of subsidizing everybody. So here it says Elisabeth Bergner.
And especially when the war started, and I had the opportunity to interview Peter Weaver, the grandson of Marlene Dietrich, and he
Great interview, by the way. It was
Thank you very
fantastic.
much. And told us that she was waiting in Paris for the former Jewish colleagues from Berlin or Babelsberg, and I think Maria said, or maybe Marlene did. I think Maria said it. She earned so much money, but she never had any money.
No. She spent it, of course, and also used it to help a lot of people.
A lot of people.
Like this actress Elisabeth Bergner. I'll show you another name that's also on the list of people that she paid money to. At the bottom, Jean Gabin, who was already quite famous actor in France, and he came, of course, to Hollywood to start a career there. She also paid him money. Tamara Matul is also on the list here. So a lot of people got paid. There's also Maria Menton at the time, Marlene's daughter, but she already had the professional stage name, Maria Menton. Yeah. It's fascinating to see all these documents and then to get these puzzles together and see how, probably that's the best word, how generous Marlene was.
Yes.
So she made a lot of money, insane, like with MGM contract, $100,000 is crazy at the time. But probably she spent $200,000, right?
Yeah. I think in 1937 she was the world's best paid actress of all time.
Yeah. I think when she did Night Without Armor, she got £350,000 and dollars for it.
37, 38, 36, I think.
Yeah, around that time. Yeah, that's correct.
37,
Yeah.
Yeah.
So also regarding war, I was able to buy this little card that Marlene had. And this is actually signed.
It's an ID? No.
No, it's. She had these little business cards, and this was signed in February 1945, when Holland was not fully liberated, but only the south. So you can see.
Funny, and we're in Amsterdam today, so
Yes.
Holland.
So she was already in the liberated part of the south of Holland when the main part of Holland was liberated only in May.
45.
45. Yes.
Wow. 45.
45.
The war is still going on for other 3 months.
So are we still on time, Matthias? How much time do we have left?
Yes, come on.
2 seconds. 2 seconds.
Give us some more.
Here's interesting. The contract to perform. Maybe some of you fans have been there. Let me see. Tuesday, July 1st until July 5th, 1969 at the International Theater in Colorado Springs in Colorado. And it just tells you the interesting news about the stage, about she needs to have a red velour traveler, red velour legs, and proscenium curtain. Traveler must open from the center, so that's the curtain, the traveler. It has to be red. Then piano to be located on the stage with the rest of the orchestra and to be tuned 2 hours prior to each performance. And 1 hour for each rehearsal. So every detail is there. She would get $49,000 for these couple of performances. Then also, here's some information. I'll show you over here also on this side.
Yeah. So there's a lot.
There is information about how many trumpets, trombones, saxophones. The purchaser will get disposal of the artist's place of engagement. So there's a lot of details regarding a quick change dressing room with lights and large mirror immediately off stage. So that had to be on the left or the right side of the stage, not walking all the way down to the back of the theater, but immediately off stage is to be furnished by the purchaser. This is to be in addition to regular star dressing room. So she needed the star dressing room anyway, and then a little dressing room off stage, equipped with a regular size refrigerator and private line telephone. So where did Marlene need the refrigerator for, besides the champagne?
The flowers.
The flowers! Where have all the flowers gone? They went to my refrigerator, I'm sure. I can go on and on here. Purchaser will furnish and pay for a chauffeured limousine to the artist upon her arrival and for her departure, as well for rehearsals. No unauthorized personnel should be there. It goes on and on. So
So interesting.
That is interesting, right?
So how did your impression or did your image of Marlene Dietrich change after getting all the items? Because that's a really intensive glimpse in the private life, in the backstage life.
It just amazed me because there's only 24 hours in a day. So how did she do all of this? And they're gonna pick me up. Do you hear that? They're looking for us. It's the Dutch police. I don't know if you've heard the police car, the siren. But that's, to me, to this day, it amazes me that she had 24 hours and she was able to get all of that work done, do the performances, then write all those letters, do the Pan Am recording, do this, do that. That's insane. So in that way, my impression didn't change, but it made me even more full of respect, and also more addictive. You want to look for more and more and more. But to just the fact that she was able to do that and all the details, and it never sort of went down. She always was
Till
on
the end.
high, like a total professional.
Till the end.
Till the end. That's
Till the
insane,
end.
right? Yeah, crazy.
Wow.
Yeah.
So
Do we have some time left?
I think we have some time left, and I'm afraid to ask you
Yeah.
if you want to show something else later.
Oh yes, that's
Because I
good.
can see it from here. I'm like,
Yeah, Matthias.
Is that a gift for me? Maybe?
That's why
Is it-
Mattia is also like Marlene a professional. So again in it was Julian's auctions again in Los Angeles. Probably we need to move there. So Joseph.
And the funny thing is, we will meet later our Los Angeles friends for dinner.
Yeah, we're gonna meet tonight. We're gonna meet our friends from Los Angeles. Dina, Joseph, a fantastic guy in Los Angeles. He, when I was there, brought me to the Fashion Museum in Los Angeles. And what I didn't know, and of course he knew that, is that they have a pretty large archive of original costumes. For instance,
From other studios.
yeah, and for instance, the costume from Desire, you remember that photo with the white fur?
Mm-hmm.
They have it over there. It's there. But in Los Angeles, I was able to buy, and of course she had several.
Fasten your seatbelt,
Fasten
ladies
your
and
seatbelts.
gentlemen.
Maybe we can ask Matthias to wear it.
Okay.
But for this, when she started doing her stage shows was around 1955, as far as I know, maybe 54, I don't know, in Las Vegas. So she had Jean-Louis design the dresses, and
And
then
that's
she had,
Sahara Hotel, right?
what?
Sahara Hotel?
Sahara Hotel, sorry, yeah, Sahara Hotel, yeah, exactly. And then she had Delman, the shoe designer, create her shoes. And there's many
This is
different shoes that she needed, but I'm not
It's
sure.
so tiny.
It's so tiny, and I'm not sure if you can see it on the inside. And look, I use for my work Swarovski crystals, and that's because Marlene also used them. It's almost impossible, I think, to show you, but you can see the word Marlene Dietrich written in it. Can you see that? I will try to. Probably this is.
Things.
Yeah, this is better.
Oh,
Yeah.
Wow. Yes.
You see Marlene Dietrich.
Yes. I think. Come here. Come here. Maybe I have a little.
You have a better light, right? And normally I wear gloves, so now with my sticky fingers I'm touching it. So Uli sent me some photos, which is hard to show you right now because it's in my computer, where she's actually wearing the shoes. But what is so funny, besides the fact that you see the shoes, you recognize them from the photos, Marlene Dietrich, golden letters, but this is so funny. Because she walked the stage with it, right? So you see that's what I love. She worked hard. She worked hard with those shoes. And that actually, because she was so successful doing those shows, that started her second career. Because actually, as a movie actress, she was sort of...
Yeah. She started singing for her boys.
Yeah. That's how it started in the Second World War, and then she transformed that in the 50s into a stage show.
Yeah.
And especially with Burt Bacharach, when he did all the orchestrations, that was so much better.
Yes.
In
And
a
she
way,
performed till 1975.
Yeah, 1970. And I remember somewhere it's written, I don't know, because that's when Australia she had fallen. But she had already planned, I think in San Francisco, to do some shows again in 1976.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm not completely sure. But I remember a story like that. Also, I think they met in the 50s. Marlene had a sort of an assistant, Bernard Hall. You hear him being mentioned in Maximilian Schell documentary. Bernard, can you do some cups of coffee for the gentleman? That's
Ich habe
Bernard.
frische Brötchen geschmiert.
Yeah, genau. And Bernard was sort of helping her out. And he actually, this is all that's left of his archive. And
Was he French or?
he was from London. He was English.
English.
He was actually a dancer and a sort of a choreographer. And they met in Monaco. I think when she was probably doing the Monte Carlo story movie.
Okay.
They met at
It was 50-ish something.
55, 56.
Yeah.
Who's helping us? It's somewhere in the 50s.
Somewhere in the
But anyway,
50s.
he also wanted to write a book. So it's hard to see, but here you'll see some chapters that he was planning to write, like The Legend Lives On, introduction, then where they would meet, which was in Monaco. He's writing some chapters. I'll show you over here. But of course, the biography never came to fruition. This is an insert about his first meeting. He says, "My first meeting with Marlene. I love staying at the Hotel de Paris, which is still there actually, and watching all the celebrities showing off over dinner. But one night, it got a bit too much for me, and I decided to have an early night. I left a message with Jean Bouy at the reception that I was going to my room and I was not to be disturbed." And that is actually when he went up in the elevator, I should say, and that's where he met Marlene. Also, he has some recipes of Marlene.
Oh, nice.
So if you want to have a cucumber dill salad or a stuffed cabbage, that's the way to do it.
Do you know if Marlene did know about that? That he was...
No. As far because unfortunately, Bernard Hall was also an alcoholic, so he at one point had to be administered to sort of a home for the elderly, taking care of it, and so a lot of stuff was thrown away.
And he died after Marlene?
Yes, he died after Marlene.
Okay.
I don't know which year, but he died after Marlene.
Okay, I see.
Here's also a letter Marlene wrote February 1977. "This is to advise you that I have engaged Mr. Bernard Hall to be my secretary, personal, in order to help me with my book. He has to be paid weekly $300. And it's easier to pay him through Moriani, which is her lawyer, I think, in Paris, because he has no American bank account since he was from the UK, right? Mr. Mariwani will pay him every week as long as you need, as long as you send him the money to pay for his services. Best regards, Marlene Dietrich." Now this is interesting because who actually was hired later to do this was Norma Bosquet. So probably since he already had a drinking problem, Marlene thought that's not going to work. And then she hired Norma Bosquet to do this. Yep, for him.
Wow.
So that's
Wow.
that's interesting that for some reason she also wanted to help him.
Yeah.
Because then he would make money. So again, she was so generous.
Generous.
What's also fun and interesting, and Joseph from Los Angeles had this translated, the Japanese tour. There's all these Japanese, I would say, production information regarding the performances when she did the tour in Japan. At what time she had to be there. There's even, I remember, a mention of that she was to meet the Japanese secretary, ambassador from the United States, and she didn't show up because she didn't want to. She had to perform, of course. So Marlene did not want to be involved there.
She was like royal family.
Yes,
right? Like
yes, exactly.
the way she was treated.
Absolutely.
In other countries when she arrived. So there are so many more things.
Oh yes.
Hayo, I'm afraid I have to say that we have to do this again. So please let
tomorrow
us know.
at 8 o'clock.
Let us. No, I'm at the airport.
Oh yeah, you're going back to Berlin.
I'm going
yes.
back to Berlin. But if you want some more, please let us know.
Yes. We could always. There's so much more that we have that we can show you. Which hopefully, that's also the thing, is interesting. And I would like to thank Matthias for coming to Amsterdam.
Thanks for inviting me, and thanks for
producing
this very
and hosting
great and
this.
crazy idea.
Yeah.
Because let's do a live stream.
Yeah, it's
once in Amsterdam. Okay.
Yeah. So let's do that. Okay, let's do that.
Let's do it again. Thank you very much.
And thank you all for joining us.
Yes.
That's also important.
Give us feedback, please, if this was nice, interesting. And go to Hayo Sol's homepage and website because there's so much more to explore.
And exactly. And there's some more paintings
When
there.
yes, exactly, because I just wanted to show you some more because we only saw Marlene Dietrich and Marlene is in between the Queen and this.
That's Audrey Hepburn.
Yeah, and there's so much more.
And behind you, you might show Clark Hanford's celebrity sculpture that he did of Marlene Dietrich.
Oh, no, sorry, yeah. I was about the Queen. Yeah, here.
You see? There
Marlene is everywhere.
He did such an amazing job because he designed the head that you have to put the key light on top and then you really get the Dietrich face. So Clark Hanford, he made some insane sculptures of Marlene. Like Paul Crease also. Paul Crease also made beautiful sculptures of Marlene Dietrich. So much more to explore,
Wow.
Matthias. Hopefully soon.
And can you imagine we talked about an hour?
And I thought we just for 5 minutes.
5 minutes.
It's
yeah.
gone already.
It was a pleasure.
It was.
Thank you very much. Have a beautiful Sunday and a beautiful Pride weekend in Hamburg, and it was in Amsterdam.
And Amsterdam also. And let us know what you thought about it. And if you want to see some more, we can be back next week.
Tschüss.
Tschüss. Bye.